Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm Leslie Myrick, interior designer and business coach with Nancy Quinn, and it is Monday Makeover with Robin. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, Leslie. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Robin and I were just chatting before we went live about High Point because we got to meet in real life, which I think is so special when you are doing a business where a lot of what you do is online. It's really cool to make those in-person connections. And
it was so much fun to meet you and Nancy in person. Yeah, it was a
blast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to chat with you today, as always, because I'm a website nerd and I learned so much from you and I love these audits. I also have to say, I really appreciate the designers who are willing to be vulnerable and say, hey, you can look at my website and give me feedback and ideas on the internet. So thank you to everyone who has done this and to Maria, who is doing it today. But we're going to do a homepage audit today.
We are, yes. And I love talking about homepages because they are truly the most important page of your website. For the simple reason that that is how most visitors landing on your website are going to enter the site, generally speaking. And it's really where you're going to make your first impression, and first impressions really matter, right? So that also means it's super important. And something that I always like to say is you should think of your homepage similar to your actual home's curb appeal, right?
Okay.
It's where somebody is going to, if someone pulls up and your shrubs are in a disarray and your lawn's not very nice and your front door needs to be painted and all that sort of stuff, that's going to create a certain impression. And it's the same thing with your homepage. Like, it really needs to be spot on and very representative of your business and your brand.
I like that analogy. Yep. And people, I feel like homepages can often be an oversight. We're so focused on the services page or the about page, and those are obviously important, but you're right. The homepage is often the entry point. And if it's not good, people aren't even going to look at the other pages to see what you've got for them.
They're not. You're absolutely right. And it's, I like to think of it as the place where you got just a couple of seconds to make that first impression, right? So you've got to hook them in right away from the very beginning, right? So that sort of top area, the header hero area of the homepage, is the most important, because if that doesn't pull them in and excite them, they're not going to scroll down or click to another page. They're just going to click off, right? So we just have those couple of seconds. And you also want to make sure that your homepage has enough content on it. And by content, I mean words. So when you look at some famous interior designer's website and all they have are beautiful images on their homepage, and that's it. Or if you look at a designer's website and all their homepage is one image and a button that says enter.
Yeah.
So while both of those can be very elegant and sophisticated, they are hurting you if SEO is something that's important to you, because images, Google doesn't see images. Google reads alt text.
Yep.
So if Google sees a page with just images, there's no content. And when you're sacrificing your homepage for an enter button, you are basically, there's no content on your homepage. And your homepage is naturally what Google is going to give the most SEO juice to out of all the pages on your website. So again, SEO is not for everyone, but I like to mention it, that those are two things that are really going against you if SEO is important to you. Now, it might not be. It's only one marketing strategy, and then go ahead and do whatever you want within content. But if it's important to you, those two things are hurting you.
I like that you said that it is sophisticated and elegant, because I think that's why people do it. It looks beautiful. But if I'm hearing you correctly, Robin, you're basically saying if you're not Nate Berkus or Kelly Wearstler, you need a real homepage with words on it.
You do.
You don't have the celebrity that's going to bring people to your website to hire you. You need to build that with your website words. All right.
For sure. Or if the kind of client that you're working with is the, super luxury, high-end premium client who is generally not going to Google interior designer near me to find you, they're going to talk to their friends at the country club and on the golf course and on boards of directors for referrals. then again, that aesthetic is very, very important. And maybe you don't want words and you want the beautiful enter button. So there's no right or wrong. It's who's your ideal client, what's your brand, that sort of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a look at Maria's homepage here.
Okay. Excellent. And I'll just reiterate what Leslie said before. Maria, thank you for volunteering your website today. And we're always looking for volunteers. So if anybody does want a page of their website considered for this, let us know. Reach out to Leslie or to myself, or pop something in the comments wherever you're watching this, and we'd be happy to add you onto the list. But let's start with Maria's header section, which is where her logo and her menu are. I always like to talk about this, even though it's not just on the homepage, but this is a fantastic layout. I love seeing the logo on the left with the menu on the right, and it's not taking up too much space. And she's got a good hover effect if the mouse hovers over any of the pages. So if anybody questions, you know, these are clickable links. So that's really, really well done. I might consider maybe making the whole area just an itty bitty bit thinner. So maybe getting rid of a tiny bit of the white space at the top and the bottom, just so we can get to the image faster, but it's not necessary. Okay.
Yeah. What about this book your discovery call button on the side here? Is that something that you be up in the...
It's funny. When I was writing up my notes, I had made a comment about that, but as you scroll down, it stays there. So while I didn't like it as something that was stationary right on the hero image, but it's a design element and it's interesting. You know, I like vertical text. I think it's an interesting design element. Some people don't. I like the fact that this book your discovery call is with you throughout the entire scroll of the homepage. It is making it very easy for someone just to click there when they're ready to. So I don't have a problem with it. I like the fact that it's her brand color as well. So it generally stands out. So yeah, I kind of like it as a design element.
I think that's great feedback. And I hadn't noticed that it stayed sort of pinned to the top menu here. And you're absolutely right. And the fact that it is on brand, but a little eye-catching because it's vertical and it's sort of not where it's supposed to be, but still is cool, that maybe people are just going to want to click that more. So
I kind of like it. And you know, it's all the way over there. It's not really covering anything. I think it works. So, and it's funny, when I was typing up my notes and I thought it was just stationary on the image, I was going to recommend moving it. And then I scrolled down and I deleted that section because I'm like, no, I kind of like it.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. But if we take a look at the images, the hero section, I personally always advise against having a slider or a carousel of images.
Okay, say more, because I feel like a lot of people, myself included, do this.
So a lot of designers do it. I advise against it for several reasons. One, it can slow down your page load time, which is very important. We're all
impatient. Is it just on the homepage, Robin, you'd say not to do a slider, or anywhere?
Homepage, at the top of the homepage is where I recommend not doing it, because that's the one area we want that loading really fast for people, right? So that's one reason. The other reason is, again, we're all in a rush. Most people are scrolling right past it and only seeing one image. So what I recommend instead is pick an aspirational image. So what can clients aspire to have after working with you? You want it to be what you consider to be representative of your best work, and also the kind of work you want to attract more of, right? So if you don't want kitchens, don't put a kitchen there, right?
Seems obvious, but you'd be surprised. That should be, here is what I want more of.
Yes.
Great.
Exactly. Yeah. So I suggest picking one image and putting it there.
Great.
Yeah. Now, again, when I talk to my clients about this, I let them know why I don't recommend a slider. It's their website. It's up to them to decide. So same with Maria. If she feels strongly that she wants it there, that's fine. But those are the two main reasons why I don't recommend it.
That's great advice.
Okay. If we go down to her next section, it feels a little bit smushed to me. The part that is above the gold, transforming houses into heartfelt homes. I'd like to see a little more padding on the top and the bottom of the words there, just so it stands out a little bit more. But I like what it says. I think it does a really good job, and it flows right into the next section with the gold background. What I might suggest here is maybe doing a 2-column design.
So you'd
Just
have
so it,
some copy here and then another block over here.
yeah, so like an image on one
Mm.
side and then the copy on the other, which can still be on the gold colored background. But that might just differentiate it ever so slightly from the section right above, which was just text that was all centered as well.
Yes.
You see, it might make that section above it stand out a little bit more, which is why I think that might be a nice little, a little bit there. Yeah. I would say this is in the section above the white set with the white background. That should be her H1 heading.
Okay.
And that should be her primary keyword phrase. If she is doing anything for SEO, should be right there.
Because it's the first words you get onto the page.
Exactly. So we're letting Google know this is the priority. This is the most important heading, right? And you want your keyword phrase in there. So if she is trying to optimize for anything with SEO, she might want to consider tweaking that a little bit for her keyword phrase, which I would recommend being primary location and primary keyword. So Boston interior designer, transforming houses into heartfelt homes.
That's great.
For example, not a copywriter, but just to
give a, you can make it make sense and still have SEO value.
Exactly.
Because I can't imagine people are Googling transform my house into a heartfelt home. It's a lovely phrase, but I don't think it's going to help with search. So there's a way to balance it, right? To have the keyword terms and still have your very storytelling language as well.
Yeah, your messaging. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's why I often find knowing the keyword phrase that you want to optimize a page for before you start writing for that page is really helpful, because then you can write with that phrase in mind and make sure you're putting it in the right spots and using it enough on the page, rather than writing something and then having to go back and fit that in.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. Yep. So, but those are just very little tweaks. Overall, really nice. And I think if we go down to the next section.
Ooh, little video background.
I like that very much. Video is really a great way to share a story in a way, to show your face. This one's not showing the face, but it's giving you a bit of an inside look at how she's sourcing fabrics, right? And it looks really good. I like it a lot.
I love that it is full width. Like, it's very immersive when you're scrolling through the website and you just hit this kind of vibe video.
It allows you to connect emotionally.
Yeah.
In a way that sometimes words and static images they just can't achieve sometimes, right? This heading here, if we look at that, interior designer serving Northern Virginia, that is almost something that could go up to
I was thinking the same thing. That really feels like what should be leading things off, and then the more soft storytelling language moves down a little bit.
Exactly. And it might just be a simple flip-flop of these sections and making that header your H1. I love that I help you align your home with your unique vision. Like, it's saying right away where she works and what she does.
Yeah.
So I think that going all the way to the top would be a really good move.
I agree.
Yep. Yeah. And again, this section I like set up like this. If we're kind of changing the other section, maybe to a 2-column with an image and words, just so it's not all the same. Like we want to have some visual interest. And again,
sorry, go ahead, Robin.
Using those images more within the page can help alleviate maybe the pain of getting rid of the carousel of images at the very top.
That's a good point. And I think I agree. This one is it's more easy to scan. And I like that she's got like, there's more line breaks. There's some bold in the middle. There's like, I think this one, I agree. This needs to be like the wham bam at the top of the page, and it will really get people right away to understand what's going on.
Absolutely. There's a good use of font hierarchy here where we've got the main heading italicized, the subheadings bold, then we're getting into smaller body text fonts. So it's very easy to skim. It's laid out very nicely. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. And then we keep going with more.
Yeah. So if we take a look here, and if we scroll down even a little bit more, I think I wanted to talk about the 2 sections together. Okay. So we've got About Me, Portfolio, and Services. And what I would actually do is move the image of Maria up to the section above where the I am a seasoned interior, right? So I think there's a lot of rejigging a bit. I feel like all the content is here, but maybe rejigging the order, because that body text I would like to see by the image of Maria.
This right here?
Yes.
Yep, with her photo on the left and the text on the right. I think that would look great. And I agree. I think it would break up this. I love this gold of like, wow, but having that image of her, I think would make it really powerful.
Yes, exactly. And then I think what we can do is have the portfolio, and does she have her services? Is that what the next one is? And her
it might be that I have my window too narrow. I just wanted to see if it moved it all on one line, if I changed it. Yes. So if the window wider, that is all together. I had just made it a little bit narrower for the sake of screen sharing today. So it is responsive depending on.
But I think we can do, just portfolio and services. And I actually think to keep it a 3-column setup, I would actually recommend adding blog, because Maria does have a blog that we're not linking to in the main menu. And when we get down to the footer, we'll see it there. But the blog is important for SEO. So let's link to it from, the content of the page. And then we can still keep that 3-column layout the same, which I really like, with the image and then a little heading and then a little body text. It works very nicely with layout and font hierarchy, but I would kind of separate out the about and add the blog in.
Yep. And I like to, I don't think you can see it on my screen share, but all of this links appropriately. So anywhere you click here goes to portfolio. Anywhere you click here takes you to the services page. So that's great.
Yeah.
Easy to navigate.
Yes. And that is also really important for SEO, because that is setting up your internal linking structure. So essentially on the homepage, we want to link to all of the other main or top level important pages of the website. So we generally do that in a menu, but then doing it throughout the page. So looking at the homepage maybe as a vertical menu of sorts with a little bit more information, that can make navigating for Google's bots and for your visitors simple.
Nice.
Yeah. And I like this. This just is very very pretty. It's a great shot of her work. The parallax effect is really nice. She's got a great, strong call to action here that stands out. So really well done. I like the little shape divider at the bottom to make it stand out. And then I love that she's got testimonials right below it. It helps reinforce the call to action. So if anybody was hesitating, this testimonial, what a client has experienced. It's a strong sales pitch, not in your words. It's a really good idea to have that by the call to action. So again, set up really nicely. And really good use of font hierarchy. She's got testimonials in another color, a quotation there, so we know what it is if you haven't read it. And then, we've got the name and the location, and it's a little bit smaller, so the testimonial stands out. So she's done a really nice job here.
Yeah.
And then she's got, I like to call this a secondary call to action. So obviously the main call to action is going to be that you want people to contact you.
Yes.
But here, she obviously has an email list and has a lead magnet here. She's offering a free guide. So this is fantastic that she's got a way for people to sign up right here. So really well done that you've got a lead magnet. A lot of people don't do that. And again, it's really good if email marketing is a part of your marketing plan. It's not for everyone, right? So yeah, but this is laid out very nicely. And then she's got her footer, and I like that she's got her logo here again. She has her contact information. She's got her links to her social media, which is great. Another call to action to start the project, her legal policy pages.
Yay!
Yay. And then we have blog floating around all by itself. So
Yeah.
I will say, it is perfectly okay to have a secondary menu in your footer that has pages that are, let's say, not your money-making pages, like blog or resources, something like that. And it's perfectly okay for them not to be up at the top in the main navigation, and you can put them in the secondary navigation in the footer, but let's add some other pages around it so it's not just floating there all by itself. And that can be having, your about and your services and your portfolio linked to from the footer as well. So if someone gets all the way down here, her header is a sticky header, so it's right there, but sometimes it's nice just to have it in the footer as well.
I agree. And blog looks a little lonely. I think it would make more sense if there was more with it.
It looks a little lonely. Yeah.
You think it needs to go in the top navigation too?
I don't think it has to if she doesn't want it to. Yeah. And I think if we have a section linking to it from the homepage, like, we had suggested with maybe taking the about away from that 3-column setup and putting blog there, she may not even need to link to it from the footer because it is being linked to from the homepage.
Yeah.
If she doesn't want a menu down there, she can just remove that entirely. Yeah.
Nice.
But if she doesn't like our idea of adding it to the, the content on the homepage,
right,
we would want to keep it here.
And the footer makes sense to keep it there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nice.
Fine. So overall, really well done. I think she's done a fantastic job, and her branding is on. Her colors are on point. Her fonts are on point. Like, everything is easy to read. I wasn't, no criticisms about fonts being too tiny or too light or anything like that. Good use of font hierarchy. I like the brand color. So very well done.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah, I know the branding stuck out to me too. Like, you get it. You see the color palette, it's clean, it's repeated. I think we sometimes get bored of that because we're so used to seeing our own stuff, but you don't realize the impact it has when you just, your brand, your colors, your fonts, people know what to expect from you. And it looks,
it's that consistency and cohesiveness. And I want to see that throughout the entire website, all the pages. And then also on her social media, in her newsletter, in any printed materials, on her business cards. So it's cohesive across all brand touch points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So really well done.
Yeah. Good job, Maria. And thank you for letting us review everything. I think there's always great tips. Even obviously, even if your website doesn't look exactly like that, there's little things you can glean to understand how to make your homepage work as best that it can for you. And if there are any problems, this is how you can fix them and see what's not working. I think fresh eyes make a difference.
Just as a resource, if anyone is, just starting out and kind of confused, like where to begin, what to put there, all of that sort of stuff. Donald Miller, his story brand, he offers a pretty simple framework for a homepage that can be really a useful place to start.
Awesome. So if you are struggling with this, that's a great place. And also reach out to Robin if you want some help doing this, because It looks easy, but it's not easy. It's just like interior design. We make it look easy, and so do great web designers. So Robin is at rdwdesignstudio.com. She's also very active in our Interior Design Business Forum free Facebook group, which, by the way, has almost 10,000 interior designers in there. So that's a great community to come ask your questions about your website or your business or anything related to being in this business of interior design. And of course, Robin's here every month with us too, to do a website audit live and share her great ideas and wisdom. So don't be stuck with your website. It's 2025. Your website's got to be good. And there's no excuse for it not to be at this point. So Robin, any final words we should think about for homepages as we move on with our day?
I would say the most important thing is to remember is it's the most important page.
Yeah.
First impressions matter. If you're going to focus on any page of your website, make it the homepage and make it the top of the homepage.
Make it, yes, above the fold, as it were, in newspaper speak. Awesome. Robin, thank you so much. We will see you back here next month.
Yeah. Have a great day.